Speaking of ambrosia directly into my veins, or mead, whatever analogy we want to go with here. You know how Bad Bunny is going to be headlining the Super Bowl halftime show? Very big deal. You know, big American culture, very good. Bad Bunny is, of course, a very popular artist. You know, not really I mean, forgive me if I'm wrong. I believe I'm completely correct here. Bad Bunny is like an order of magnitude more popular than the previous Super Bowl halftime headliner Kendrick Lamar, right? Like Kendrick Lamar is obviously huge, but Bad Bunny, my understanding is that he's like really, really, really big, right? I could be wrong on that. Maybe I inflame people unnecessarily there. My understanding was that Bad Bunny was huge. Like big international market. Internationally, yes. Nationally, no. Well, the NFL is probably trying to cater more international interest. I mean, it would, after all, be in their financial interest. Like soccer benefits from being an international sport. The NFL probably doesn't like the fact that it's an America sport, you know? I don't even know how you can play football, you know, American football in other countries. I don't even know. Do they have teams? Probably not, right? They have soccer teams in America, but it's illegal. Yeah, it's probably illegal. They probably kill you if you do that. Anyway, the point is, Bad Bunny is not a fan of Trump, and he is vocal about it. He has been vocal about it. He's been chosen as the halftime headliner, and Republicans have been mad. Now Trump seems to be mad. I don't know what this video contains. I just wanted to talk about it.
The NFL just chose the Bad Bunny Rabbit, or whatever his name, this guy who hates ICE. He doesn't like you. He accuses everything he doesn't like of racism. Do you think maybe we should just kind of entertain blowing off the NFL, like a boycott or something along those lines?
Again, I don't know how we reached this point, but somehow we in the national divorce, Democrats kept the NFL. I genuinely do not understand how we got here. Is it a Taylor Swift thing, like Taylor Swift's husband, or I do not get it. I don't get it.
Donald Trump is weighing in on Bad Bunny being selected as the Apple Music Super Bowl 60 halftime show.
That's a very interesting outfit.
Performer. In an interview with Newsmax on October 6th, host Greg Kelly referred to the Puerto Rican rapper as Bad Bunny Rabbit and asked the president if people should potentially boycott the NFL over the choice, claiming the 31-year-old hates ICE.
The NFL just chose the Bad Bunny Rabbit, or whatever his name, this guy who hates ICE. He doesn't like you.
Why not
he
skip
accuses
ahead?
Everything he doesn't like of racism. Do you think maybe we should just kind of entertain blowing off the NFL, like a boycott or something along those lines? This guy does not seem like a unifying entertainer, and a lot of folks don't even know who he is.
I never heard of him. I don't know who he is. I don't know why they're doing it. It's like crazy. And then they blame it on some promoter that they hired to pick up entertainment. I think it's absolutely ridiculous.
Though Trump did not...
I think that might be the end of the actual commentary, and the rest of this is going to be... he did an SNL response? Oh, yeah, I saw this. Look, I talked the other day about... I can't play SNL. I talked the other day about how conservatives will always be mad, like fascists will always be mad, because what they want is an indefinite culture war, and they want the approval of cultural institutions to reaffirm their biases and their insecurities, and they're never going to get it. Because they're unlikable and art doesn't like them and they don't like art. So they're always going to be left out of the loop artistically. There's always this like this contrast between the fascist and the thing the fascist likes, right? Fascists love media that hates fascists, you know? Like basically every good story reaffirms values like truth, democracy, or at the very least freedom, liberation from oppression, anti-bigotry, and so on. It doesn't matter. We could be talking, Star Wars or Avatar: The Last Airbender is a big one, because that aired like during the childhoods of a lot of people who are today fascists. So in their head, they're like Lord of the Rings. Yeah, fascists are like, yeah, I love Lord of the Rings because J.R.R. Tolkien, believed in objective morality in Christendom. And it's like, buddy, do you know how Tolkien thought about you? You know how Tolkien thought about your ideology? It's not a hidden bit. It's not a little detail of his life. It's well known. Tolkien was complicated. You know what wasn't complicated? How he felt about Nazis. You don't have to hold water for this conversation, okay? Yeah, a guy who was born 500 years ago is problematic. Whatever the fuck, okay? We know perfectly well how he thought. Yeah, as far as he's concerned, Nazis are the orcs, okay? Anyway, the fascists, they're always run up against this. I feel like there are a lot of them who are going to be in this position with, Bad Bunny as well, or maybe just the NFL, because I feel like a lot of these people, day in, day out, Trumpers, MAGA, whatever, live in willful denial, like self-delusion, about how much the things they like hate them. You know what I mean? Like if they like this TV show or this movie, this musician, like they have to pretend that they're not the bad guy as described in these fables. You know what I mean? Because they are the bad guy, right? Like there's no world, like basically every treatise on morality you get from anything from children's books to like classic literature, none of these things endorse Nazism. None of them. No, you're not going to get that from any of these books. No one would want to read it. No one would. Who the wants to read a I don't know, some grand Western epic, and like the lesson of the epic is that some people are just better than other people, and the world should belong to the better people. I mean, they made Atlas Shrugged, and it's shit. That's it, though. It's really, really bad, like writing. It's not satisfying. It's narratively opposed to what we believe in as humans. The human spirit resists that impulse. The idea of the narrative arc where people can become great, or they used to be great, but they've fallen. This is common to, I mean, you look at Tolkien, right? They say, well, Tolkien had objective morality. Tolkien is the story of hobbits saving Middle-earth, buddy. It's the story of humble, weak people through humility and perseverance overcoming a trial because they lack the greed and the ambition that would have driven one of the other races to have coveted the ring. And you have good people fallen from great. Boromir. I'm sorry, it's Lord of the Rings. We've all watched Lord of the Rings. Maybe some of you have read Lord of the Rings. I'm not that cool. I've watched Lord of the Rings. I've always wondered, so fascists watch Indiana Jones like it's a horror movie? No, and that's exactly what I mean. When fascists watch Indiana Jones, and I'm not speculating, I've seen them talk about this on social media, okay? What they think is that Indiana Jones disliked Nazis only because they were on opposite sides of an arbitrary conflict. In their mind, Indiana Jones is still the white hero, an Übermensch, a strong man who takes what he wants and does what he needs to. And the fact that the Nazis were the enemy is a circumstantial thing. Like, they were just on the other team. It's like watching Bonnie and Clyde and seeing how they treat cops, or the Blues Brothers, right? Like, you don't watch the Blues Brothers and think like, oh, this movie is ideologically, well, I mean, you can, of course, but like a lot of people probably just think of it as like a wacky, zany, hijinks film. You're not really necessarily thinking about it in the context of an ideological condemnation of police. That's how they feel about Indiana Jones. You get me, right? You all agree? This is real. I'm not joking. They actually think that. When they just ignore when they hear Nazis, I hate those guys from Indy, what they hear there is like what they're hearing is like, oh yeah, because they're on the other team. They don't think of it as a rejection of what the Nazis are, even though if you watch the movies, that's obviously what Jesus Christ with the Holy Grail, with the Nazis being unable to understand what, like, that Christ was a carpenter. Like the Nazi obsessed with grandiosity can't comprehend the idea of like humility being the source of Christ's. Ridiculous. Likewise, Nazis, like Nazi Star Wars fans or fascist Star Wars fans, genuinely do not see Nazism in the Empire or the First Order. I know it's insane. Like, again, it's like illness. Like I feel like you would have to be mentally ill to not be aware of the Empire with the stormtroopers that, like, they don't, you can tell them that directly, but they won't get it. And it's like a self-defense mechanism for them. A lot of people like Star Wars. A lot of those people are fascists. If you, like, they do not want to believe that the thing they like so much feels that way about them. Yeah, it's like a self-defense. It's like a self-defense system by way of media illiteracy, which is why people on the right are so often completely illiterate media-wise, Oh yeah, I did see that a huge country star recently put out a song criticizing ICE, and people are quite mad about it. Zach Bryan. I don't know how large they are. I know that they're notable enough to be talked about. I have no idea how. I don't know if they're super big or whatever. Massive star. Okay, all right. Okay, I don't know. Yeah. Is it good though? Well, it's country, so Is this like them labeling the games they like as non-woke, even though they so clearly are, like Bayonetta? Yeah, I basically the point that I'm getting at here, I think, is that the reason why MAGA is so upset here about Bad Bunny being the Super Bowl headliner is because, in addition to the fact that they just want to wage a permanent culture war and are upset that these institutions will never really approve of them, on the other side of things, right? They're probably upset because it draws more attention to the like contrast in their heads between the fact that they are evil and everything they like in the world is good. You know, fascists might like evil in an abstract sense. Like a fascist will watch a video of a innocent father of four, a Latin American, getting tackled to the ground by ICE and go, based, based, based. They might like that, you know, as an abstraction of a broader political conflict, sure. But obviously, like in day-to-day life, fascists like good things the same way everyone else. Like fascists also like sleeping in a comfy bed and the smell of freshly baked cookies and blah blah blah, right? Like they don't actually have like a demon's reversed sensory stimuli where they're, you know, well, actually, I think that getting hit in the head feels good. They, of course, they're people, you know, and I think that you see that in the fables they value. You take a look at the narratives that fascists value, the stories they like, and I bet you those stories, overwhelmingly, are going to be just as committed to the principles of virtue, fairness, equality, and so on as the ones you and I like. They're not like going out there. The millions of Americans who are fascists are not going out there and finding like weird indie edge case movies and media where actually like the bad things happen and the bad things are good, and they watch that and they're like, yes, I like this because I like bad things. You know? I'm sorry, I feel like I'm sounding stupid. Was what I'm saying making sense? I'm trying to like provide some context for this indefinite culture war shit, you know? They want to believe that their values align with the values that they believe are good. But in reality, they don't. So they have to, you know, try to draw attention away from this contrast. Even Warhammer 40k is somewhat anti-Nazi if you look into it. Looking into it in this case being knowing anything about it, reading anything about it, learning anything about it, hearing the people who write the books or the company that produces the entire universe, yeah. Yeah, I mean, that would be a classic example for sure. It's basically impossible to know anything about 40k and learn about the Imperium and think that they're doing things well. The fact that they're doing things poorly is like a point of basically every story they appear in, but, you know, willful ignorance, right? The closest thing they have to their media is the Turner Diaries. Yes, Svervin, but the important thing is they don't read the Turner Diaries. None of these people are reading the Turner Diaries. None of these people are reading Mein Kampf. They don't actually do that. American fascists aren't reading Mein Kampf. They might watch fascist YouTube videos, but they're watching like Star Wars. They're not detached from the cultural, like the broader cultural conversation. Anyway, sorry. Hopefully this makes some sense. It's just a self-defense mechanism. I don't know. Sometimes I think even a space marine would scoff at the idea of Nazism. I'm not sure about fascism, though. Well, the Imperium is objectively theocratic, like totalitarian. Well, it depends on the planet you're on. If you explain Nazism to a space marine and you were like, okay, so the Jews, they would probably interrupt you and ask what the Jews are, because there's one religion. The imperial cult is the. I think they would get hung up on that one. You know.